Welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast. Leadership is a choice. Join me, Matt, and my co-hosts Drew and Tate each episode as we break down how to lead powerfully in your family, team, and organization.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast. Drew and Tate and I are excited to do a short bonus episode the day before Thanksgiving. Obviously, gratitude is on our minds this week. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude and how it impacts our life and how we see gratitude being a big part of leadership and showing up as a leader every day. So Tate actually had an interesting find the other day as he was looking up the definition of gratitude. So Tate, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you found?
Yeah, so depending on where you look, obviously there's probably many different definitions of grateful. But one particular stood out to me, and it's feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness, thankful. And it stood out to me because it incorporated the word kindness. And I think that's something that many times we take for granted, you know, when people really show up in our lives that are truly kind regularly. And I think it's something that kind of gets overlooked a lot of times. We get in the mundane wheel of life and just kind of forget to show up sometimes that way. And so I think that was really powerful for me.
Yeah, no, that's so good. I'm just sitting here thinking about the fact that it says, for kindness. Like, that's interesting because I think that we miss a lot of kindness, right? Like, we overlook it, or especially if we're not looking for it, maybe we'll miss it. And, not only showing gratitude when we feel like someone's treating us kindly, right? Like, so I think there's kind of the other side of it as well, which is like, how do we show gratitude and be grateful even when people aren't being very kind?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this just popped into my mind, and it's something I've said for years, and it's people do the right thing for the wrong reasons and the wrong thing for the right reasons every day. And I say it in this context is when you're grateful, I don't know that it matters why somebody did something. And, if it impacted you and it was a positive thing, it's good to be grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think that gratitude comes down to a lot of this concept, like you find what you're looking for, right? That if you're looking for things to not work or to be obnoxious or frustrating or, scarce or less than what you could have had, then you'll find all of that, right? Mm-hmm. And as a leader, showing up every day, looking for the things that work, looking for the things that you're happy about, that you're grateful for, you find them. So over the weekend, someone at church actually shared a cool phrase that I had never heard it said this way. And they said, it's not the joy that makes us grateful. It's the gratitude that makes us joyful. And that just stuck with me. I think that is so profound, right? That a lot of times we look at our circumstances or the people around us or relationships, and when things are quote unquote going really well, it may even be easier to show gratitude and express gratitude. Mm-hmm. And maybe when we're going through challenging circumstances or things are hitting us from different directions that are a little bit challenging, maybe we're less likely to be grateful. And so then we don't find as much joy. And so, yeah, I just love that idea that it's in choosing gratitude that we find the joy, that we create the joy that we feel. And I believe that's a really important trait for someone that wants to show up as a leader every day. Mm-hmm. One of the other things that I've been thinking about along those lines is when it comes to our people, right? Whether that's our family members, just people that we have relationships with, people on our team, in our organization, it can be easy to blur the lines between like, hey, these people aren't doing what we've agreed upon, or they aren't pulling their weight, and also expressing gratitude for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important that as leaders, we find that distinction where we can truly look for the good, look for what we're grateful for in everyone, and still challenge people, carry out things in a way that works for our organization and for our family, while not overlooking all that that person has presented us with or provided us with, or even if it's just the opportunity to learn, right? That we can be grateful for that.
Matt, I think it was you that quoted something the other day, and it was, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think in leadership roles at times, it's easy to forget that it takes a team to truly build something incredible, something powerful. And, obviously, a lot of times there's a leader or many leaders within that, but collectively, the group can do so much more.
Yeah. No, for sure. I just thought of one other distinction that I think is really powerful, and it's the difference between I'm grateful to and I'm grateful for. So like, for example, I could say like, I'm really grateful to Drew and Tate for, their support, their friendship, and that really matters, right? However, it's a little bit different when you think about like, I'm grateful for, it just almost makes it a little bit deeper. Like, I'm grateful for the opportunities we have together. I'm grateful for the challenges we face together. I'm grateful for the, what we create together. And going back to like when we have challenging circumstances or situations or people, I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn, right? You don't feel very grateful to someone or to, to your kids when they're, presenting a challenging situation. You don't feel very grateful to them. And in that moment, you can still be grateful for them. Like, you can still be grateful for that opportunity to learn, to grow, to overcome. And so that's a really powerful reframe for me. Sometimes I don't feel very grateful to someone, and I can still be grateful for that interaction, for what it's teaching me.
Yeah, a quote that's been on my mind a lot. He's a leader of the church you and I belong to, Matt, but Russell Nelson says the joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives. And I think that kind of goes back to kind of tie some of these things together. That quote you shared earlier about gratitude and joy. It's like, what is it that we're focused on? Or being grateful to versus grateful for? Like, what is it we're focusing on? And yeah, they're just, I love this time of year. I love Thanksgiving. I love the chance to reflect on what I'm grateful for and really just get a chance to like look inward and say, hey, what are the things I have that maybe some days I take for granted, and get a chance to look inward a little bit.
Yeah. Now, leadership is a choice. Gratitude is a choice. And it's one of the things that's so powerful about some form of journaling, right? I think that along with, the consistency, the reflection, I feel like when I am consistently journaling, whether that's through social media, through LinkedIn, or in an actual journal, it's useful because it causes me to intentionally reflect daily on like, what am I grateful for today? And so I encourage anyone of you listening to incorporate gratitude into your daily reflections. And if you don't have any type of daily reflection, create one. Again, not because you have to, not because you should, not because of like the pressure of doing it every day, but because a daily reflection of gratitude is so powerful, because fear and scarcity cannot exist in your mind at the same time you're being grateful. Like, how powerful is that to recognize? Like, if you are tired of feeling fear, anxiety, overwhelm, uncertainty, then choose gratitude and recognize that those two things, like, they cannot exist in your mind at the same time. So gratitude is an amazing antidote to those types of emotions and those types of feelings. Drew, can you tell us a little bit about the experience you had recently where you were talking to someone that was feeling really underappreciated in their career or in their organization? Yeah. I think it's a really useful place for us to go as we talk about leadership, and how gratitude is not just about like me, my life, everything I have, right? It's also, are we expressing appreciation to the people who are around us and who are a part of whatever it is that we're doing?
Yeah, one of my closest friends reached out to me this last week or two, and asking for some advice. He's looking to make a career change. He has been the top salesperson at his company for many years now, and he doesn't feel appreciated. Like, if I had to sum up what he's, and he even was like, it sounds like I'm being a wuss when I tell you this, like, that I need appreciation and I want it. And what's really interesting is it's not even that he doesn't feel appreciation from the owners or his direct sales leader. It's actually a technician that he works very closely with. He feels like takes him for granted, doesn't appreciate him, constantly criticizes him. You know, the funny thing is, he would never say this. Like, if he leaves, like, this person who's not showing him appreciation could very well, it could affect his pay, his job. Like, he's, you know, they only have they're a small company. They only have a few salespeople. He's probably bringing in, I don't know exactly, but I bet he's bringing in over half the company's revenue. And he's telling me, hey, like, it almost doesn't feel worth it. Like, he's making the best money he's ever made in his life. And I really believe, like, that's a lack of leadership. And it'd be easy to say, oh, well, the boss, the salespeople are doing a good job because they're still showing him appreciation. He feels appreciation from them. But the fact that they're allowing the organization to create these feelings, and they even had a meeting last week, and he said it didn't go great. He was able to express some concerns, but the fact that he's still, we saw each other last night, and the fact that he's still like, hey, I think I'm going to walk away and leave this job and go to something where I'll probably make less. I'll probably have, you know, I won't have to work as many hours. And he's more like, I just want to find somewhere where I'm going to feel appreciated. And so what does appreciation have to do with all this? I just think, like, am I, as a leader, being grateful and showing appreciation and creating an environment where my employees know their value, and where we encourage the organization to show that respect to one another. And so it's just real interesting to kind of see this and hear this and talk to him about it. And I just reflect on some of the great leaders I've had. And yeah, you'll get people to stay longer and work harder if they feel some gratitude, if they feel some appreciation. And so just been kind of eye-opening to watch this unfold in my buddy's life. I hope everything works out for him if he listens to this. I didn't ask for his permission to share, so not going to say his name. Yeah, it's just really interesting that, like, hey, money, sometimes there's things out there that are more important than money, even if you're paying a person in your organization quite a bit.
I love this example. You pointed out the fact that, like, even the owners and supervisors aren't necessarily where this feelings comes from. And I think it illustrates the importance of everyone embracing the fact that, you know, we have influence and where we can be leaders to one another, and it does have an impact. You know, obviously this could dive way off into a cultural conversation, which could be kind of fun, and we probably don't have time for that. So for another episode, we'll get into culture, Matt's favorite topic. So, but yeah, I love this example, simply for the fact that, you know, it's more from a peer than, you know, a traditional leader.
Yeah. No, that is fascinating. So, call to action for you, listener: get out your phone, text or call someone that comes to your mind and express gratitude for them, right? This is not like, thank you for doing your job, or thank you for taking out the trash, or I think about that sometimes at night. I find myself sometimes thanking my kids for just like the things they do, right? It's like, thank you for, getting your stuff done, and thank you for helping your sibling today, right? I think that's important. And it's like, hey, I'm really grateful for you. Like, I'm grateful you're in our family. There's a little bit of a difference there. So reach out to someone that comes to your mind and express sincere gratitude for them, like for their influence in your life, for what they've taught you, for what they mean to you, and begin to cultivate more intentionally, like this really attitude of showing and expressing gratitude and looking for the things that we have to be grateful for. Because when we're willing to look for them, we will find them. And then you just stay in that more, right? In this abundance type mindset. When I think about abundance, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, like an abundance mindset. When I think about abundance, I think of the ability to hold two things at once, which in this case would be like a really sincere and profound gratitude for everything that I have, for everything that I am, for all the people that are a part of my life, for everything that has been, that has got me to this point, and simultaneously recognize that there's so much more for me to experience. And so what's so cool about that, and this is to me is abundance, is that it doesn't cancel out what has been or what I have. Right? It's not it's not being ungrateful and saying like, oh, it's never enough. More is possible. I'm going to keep going. It's both. It's a deep gratitude for everything that is and has been, and like really feeling that, and a profound, deep awareness that so much more is still possible for me to discover, to create, to build, to experience.
Yeah, and I think maybe one other call to action, Matt, is if you're a listener and you're a leader of an organization, or you have those you have stewardship over, find some way to express gratitude or appreciation to those in your stewardship. It means so much when a good leader and different. And here's the funny thing too. Here's what's hard. Maybe I don't know if I want to use the word hard, but different people want that appreciation different ways. So for one person, it might be a raise. For one person, it might just be some words of affirmation of how they're showing up and what they're doing. And I think it's just important to know, hey, how do my people want to receive appreciation and receive gratitude? And how can I express that?
And if you want a little insight into what the way they want to receive it, look at how they give it.
Yeah.
Which takes a little bit of effort, right? Like, I'm not a big gift guy. I don't think to give gifts because I also don't think to receive gifts. Not that I don't appreciate them, but they just don't, it's not the way I receive people's love. And so anyways, I look around at people that I want to show love to, and it's like, well, how are they expressing it to other people or to me? That's how they likely want to receive it. So yeah, it could be game changing for that person. Like there's so many stories out there of people who have struggled with mental health or struggled at different times in their life. And oftentimes it is someone coming and expressing like a sincere appreciation or gratitude for them that really lifts them out of that rut, or really can change the trajectory that they're on from a mental and emotional standpoint. So reach out today, right? Today's the day, right now, and show your appreciation and your gratitude for those that are a part of your life and that make a difference for you.
I love it, guys. And with that, I'm personally extremely grateful for the two of you in this moment. So
yeah, likewise. I think our listeners know this, and we are living this. We're on the journey, on the climb, and grateful to share some thoughts with all of you today. Have a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy the holiday in whatever way you have planned.
happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for joining us on the Everyday Leader podcast. If you're ready to take your leadership journey even further, subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more insights and practical tips. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram to stay a part of our growing community. Just follow the links in the show notes. If this episode impacted you, please help us spread the word and share the link with a friend from wherever you're listening.